everyone. I'm Sarika Malhotra and ये मेरा पहला गुरुजी का सत्संग है. So जय गुरुजी. मेरे को बहुत ऐसे messages पिछले में पढ़ती थी तो I've been getting them all the way. लिखा हुआ तू मेरा सत्संग कर. So I was kind of little reluctant. I started following Guruji 2020 and during lockdown. मेरे पेरेंट्स काफी मानते हैं गुरुजी को और मैं कभी नहीं मानती थी. Maybe I got married into Arya Samaji family where my mother-in-law didn't believe in all that, and I have studied in a hostel all my life. So the concept of too much religion is not installed. Though my mother is very religious, but so whenever I used to go to Gurgaon, my mom, dad would say, chill badi mandir. And I'm like, no, nothing yaar. मैं यहाँ chill करने आई हूँ. I'm catching up with my friends for either lunches or dinners or I was in a mood to do other things. I never went. Eventually 2020 March was a lockdown period and my dad was not keeping well. That is my journey with Guruji. And I go to Kethal, that is like my native place where mom dad oscillate between Gurgaon and Delhi. And as my brother stays in Gurgaon and my parents have work in Kethal, we have lands there. So Papa ki tabiyat nahi theek thi. I went there and I was feeling, he's not responding very well. He had a kidney disorder, kidney disease, but it was like he was mama's like nahi naha liya thande pani se isliye he's feeling warm. I gave it. I was like maybe he's tired or he was going through dialysis also, maybe he's weak. Next morning the same thing, he had a cannula on his neck. And I am Sangat ji, I am a dentist by profession as well as a jeweler. It's like combined profession for me. And the doctor and me was actually feeling that something is wrong. My dad's not reacting in a similar way. Then I put two and together. I'm like, Mom, ये cannula तो उतर जाना चाहिए था, महीने से ऊपर हो गया. So mom's like, नहीं cannula से क्या हो जाएगा? I'm like, fever बढ़ गया. And I'm like, let's test him COVID का test कराया तो वो तो next day तक ठीक, it was negative. And we're like, now what? Cannula se then I'm alive. Cannula se to, I told the symptoms to a doctor in Delhi and he's like, these are symptoms, he's shivering, he's this, he's that. These are all symptoms of septicemia. And I remembered my neighbor losing his life due to cannula infection within 8 hours, and I panicked. And spoke to the doctors in Kethal, and they just prescribed me Augmentin, and which I knew was not good enough because with this kind of a severe infection, you need to give them injectables. And I consulted his kidney specialist. We started the right medicine though, but we could not take him back to, the doctors in Delhi were like, pack him up and get him to Delhi. This is danger sign. And eventually I was so scared throughout the night. Me, my brother, my mom, we were checking on him every hour. And the lab had to open up at 6 and everybody was telling me TLC count would be more than 25,000 and you are a doctor, you are mad, and we were praying all this way. And eventually once I went in the room, my mom went to the room and he was up and he was like, Guruji आए थे, कहाँ गए? मुझे भी bless करके गए हैं. And I'm like, what? Eventually at 6 in the morning, we were expecting a TLC count for like 25,000 and the TLC count was pure normal, that was 11,000. Jai Guruji. That was my introduction to Guruji's world of, I was kind of set aback that we were praying upstairs and he could feel that Guruji came and blessed him down. So that was my journey. I came back to Kaithal, from Kaithal to Delhi, and it was lockdown. And Sangat ji, I am a workaholic. I simply love my work. I am very passionate about jewelry also as a profession. And we were not working. It was a lockdown. Nothing was operating. It was a very, funny phase. So one day we were all cooking and putting Insta stories on your food you cook, the rasgullas and the rasmalais, and apart from this nothing was happening. So one day during the lockdown, my household was even more stricter because we have kids and elders in the household. So we didn't even let anybody come in. My cousin comes in and on the out only, gateway, she tells me, Saru, she handed a Swaroop of Guruji in my hand. And I was like, okay. Though I did not believe much, that was the only incident that happened there. And I'm like, Reena, maybe this is my calling. And she's like, maybe? मैंने मेरे दरवाजे पे चलकर आए हैं. She said, you have to make a Swaroop of bracelet for me, Om on one side, Omkar on the other, and diamonds all over. And I was frustrated because I was not working, काम नहीं था, and which is, I had to make a bracelet for, the Karigars also, half of them had gone to their villages because यहाँ काम ही नहीं था. I started. That bracelet gave me 5 orders of the same. And then there was no looking back. Irrespective of COVID, my turnover has been the same for year 2020 or 2021. So, Jai Guruji. So, इसके बाद ना मेरी जर्नी के बाद मैं गुरुजी के काफी सत्संग सुनने लग गई थी online. And I was amazed because I am a very person, a very positive person, and I believe a lot in Sai Baba. So I was also wondering, why am I doing this? I believe so firmly in science. Science never let me down. Believe me, Sangatji. Why am I shifting my faith to Guruji? He's a different entity. My household is, my in-laws don't believe in Guruji, and, my mother-in-law always had, this Guruji was very, a womanizer, and, something had, I'm like, and I have attended 1 or 2 satsang. I'm like, yeah, you have to do a lot. तो मेरी तो in-laws ही नहीं like करेंगे. How will I do all of this? This is what I'm talking to a friend of mine in the evening. कि, how am I going to do it? So I'm in the night I listened to a satsang of I don't remember the right name. This is Khera. She's like, I was such a busy person and I would also ask Guruji, मैं सोचती मैं करूँगी कब सत्संग. कोई बोलता अमृत वेला करो, मेरे पास तो टाइम ही नहीं है. The answer came across, पुत्र तो सत्संग कभी भी कर सकती है. उठते जागदे सोंदे खांदे पींदे चल दे जान दे शॉपिंग कर दे. तेनु कोई फालतू दा, you don't have to go an extra mile, to prove it to the world that you are doing a satsang. You can just remember me anytime. I just need your unconditional love. That's the answer I got from that satsang. So whatever questions I have put across have come to me through somebody or the other satsangs. So, और मैं आपको, believe me, it is a magical world of Guruji. I have experienced, I got into stocks at the same time, I have to tell you, in 2020. And I was doing pretty decent for myself, keeping myself busy, educating myself. I learned a lot of stock market through some courses, and, a lot of my cousins and all were into it, my brothers into it. So I was educating, trying to be up to it. So I was like, I'm somebody who likes, basically when you are in jewelry, you are used to a lot of money coming your way here and there. So I was not having fun, 10,000, 20,000, 30,000. I'm like, Guruji, show me something nice. I am bored of this. There was a phase, I picked up a stock called Yes Bank, which was at 11. And a big quantity, and within a few days it was 20 or 18, 20. This practically double, and I was looking कि investment कम हो और तो जब जिस दौरान मैंने मांगा, this kind of stock list I've had, all my stocks, I'm like, Guruji, कुछ, I'm not having fun. Let me have fun with stocks. All my stocks, all the small caps, mid caps, everything was rising. There was a phase of 10 days. My brother's like, जो तेरे पास है, वही सब बढ़ा हुआ है. So this genuinely is a magical world of Guruji. He shows you magic there and then. फिर मैं आपको संगत जी एक सत्संग सुनाती हूँ. I was some payment had, I had a big loss in 2019. मतलब big loss का मतलब है काफी बड़ा था. I don't want to take figures. Somebody duped me with a lot of jewelry and money and everything, and I was really shattered. So whenever I would think of that guy who had really ran with a lot of my money, and काफी मार्केट का भी उन्होंने लिया था, तो मेरे पास एक ही मैसेज आता था, एक ही मैसेज बार बार, जो तू खोया वो तू पाएंगी, जिन्ना तू खोया वो तो ज्यादा पाएंगी. So he's been answering me through his through Facebook. Eventually इतना पैसा मैंने खोया था, जो भी genuinely संगत जी कमाया था सब खो दिया था. I was starting from scratch, and believe me, Sangat ji, it's been a very, very difficult journey to get over that loss also, because money is very important, and making it and losing it is also very, very difficult, somebody running away with it. So इसमें एक दो कारीगर था लॉकडाउन में जिनके पास सामान था, ज्वेलरी में आप अगर ब्रेसलेट का भी देते हो तो 20 ग्राम सोना हो जाता है, उसके ऊपर हीरा आप दे रहे हो. तो 2-3 कारीगर ऐसे थे, they were not responding, and because you'd lost so much money. एक किसी के पास सेट का गोल्ड और डायमंड क्या हुआ था, किसी के पास एक ब्रेसलेट का था, इतने में लॉकडाउन लग गया था. तो आधे कारीगर गांव से वापस ही नहीं आए थे. Nobody was picking their call up. So I got so scared. Karigars were running. Jewelry industry was going through a very shitty phase. People were closing down. Karigars were running. And I was like, I did a satsang of Guruji, I sat and listened to all this Bhat Mohans possible. And I'm like, Guruji, I can't go through it. So much loss already. और ये भी किसी का बन रहा है. This is not done. I get a call at 12 in the night from that karigar. When I left, he is somebody who's worked with me for years, and I've been messaging him, voice notes, everything. And after that satsang, 11 बजे मैं बैठ के 1 घंटा प्रेयर करी. 12 बजे उसका मुझे कॉल आया, दीदी I'm sorry मेरा फोन खराब हो गया था. So जय गुरुजी. एंड ऐसे काम रिलेटेड कुछ प्रॉब्लम्स मेरे को आती रहती हैं, तो अब मैं गुरुजी ये करवा दो. एंड आई वाज गोइंग टू अ दिवाली पार्टी. दिस इज जस्ट रीसेंट. सो आई वाज जस्ट स्क्रॉलिंग थ्रू फेसबुक. इज लाइक, तू ना मेरा सत्संग करना है. ये मैसेज ना मुझे बड़े टाइम से आ रहा है, मैं आपको बताऊं संगत जी. मैं गुरुजी मैं दिवाली पार्टी पे जा रही हूँ, ताश खेलूंगी, देयर वुड बी alcohol, there would be non-veg. मैंने वहां पे आपका कैसे सत्संग करना है, I'll plan something big and do it. I just thought this to myself. And I go, we played tash, had drinks or whatever. It was a good evening. 1:32, I'm coming back from that place, and the person who was holding the party, Namita Gupta, and she's like, Saru, come here. I was going to go. Then I want you to meet this one. I met that girl. She's like, तू इसको अपने सत्संग सुना. So whatever Guruji tells you, वो उसी टाइम करवा देते हैं संगत जी. इसमें कोई सोचने वाला कोई वो नहीं है. और मेरे बहुत हैं, जैसे my son going to Canada, I didn't have any direction. Believe me, finances were also really low after that incident of mine in 1920 where I did a major loss. I had nothing. I thought he'll do his hospitality or a BCA here, and he did not have maths in his 12th, and he's a very average kid, and maybe he'll go for his master's. This was my thought process, because maybe I can't afford a foreign education for my child. कैसे उन्होंने मेरे को दिमाग में डाला मुझे नहीं पता. बस मुझे ये पता है मैं राइट डायरेक्शन में इसलिए हूँ क्योंकि मैं जब उसका पासपोर्ट बनवाने गई थी ना, तब मुझे तो इतना पता ही नहीं था. मैं तो ओल्ड संगत के सत्संग सुन के गुरुजी के साथ इतनी कनेक्ट हुई हूँ. that, I actually know how Guruji used to talk, what his, thought process were. I went to the passport office, इसका passport का कुछ issue था, and मेरे को ना एक झोंका सा आया. It was maybe rose, it was a very floral सा झोंका. And I had heard it somewhere कि Guruji की एक fragrance होती है. And then I'm like, my younger one was also there. I was like, Avya, did you smell this? He's like, no, mom. I was like, I rushed throughout the, passport office. Itna strong fragrance tha, Sangat ji, that believe me, it was, I went for, because एक second में आया, I'm like, let me see where it is, who's wearing this kind of a perfume. But मुझे वो कहीं नहीं मिला उस फ्लोर पे. नीचे गई, कहीं भी मुझे वो नहीं मिला. So मुझे ये पता है I'm in the right direction, sending me to Canada, and how finances worked for us, how things worked is only Guruji's, जब मैं कोई भी सत्संग सुनती थी, हमेशा कनाडा का जिक्र होता था. और कैसे उन्होंने सब कुछ कर दिया, that is only his महिमा, और किसी की महिमा नहीं है. और संगत जी, यही, और मुझे कुछ याद नहीं आ रहा. So I'll take your off. This is my first satsang, and thank you so much, Guruji, for touching my life in such a beautiful way. I simply love you and adore you.